Hey everybody, thanks for checking out this video this week. Today I'm going to start a new kind of segment about Nashville and about my move here. I've been here for about 6 months now. So as I'm sure many of you already know, I am a musician and I worked as a musician in bars, clubs, restaurants during my college years, and that was my job. That's how I made money. And that was back in Massachusetts. And so when my girlfriend and I, Demi is her name, we decided that we were going to move here to Nashville together. I think we moved here on June 8th, dead center of pandemic, and it was an ordeal. Deciding where to move, moving, and settling in here and living here has been quite the experience, and I really would like to share it with you guys. So I guess I'll start with what it's like trying to find a place to live, a location. We were pretty stressed out about deciding what spot we wanted to live in and trying to figure out what we could afford. Like I said, we had just finished college. We were still in college. We knew we wanted to come here, but there's a ton of options. And my cat's attacking my arm right now. This is Hinata. She's our new Bengal cat. Say hi. But yeah, so we were looking, and of course we couldn't visit because we were still up in Massachusetts. I was using things like Apartment List and apartments.com, and we looked like through so many apartments, like 40, 50, 60 apartments, and we were basically relying on, the pictures, which, trust me, some people can make a pretty lousy looking space look amazing in pictures, so just be careful with that. So we relied on that and mostly reviews, like on Google and Yelp and stuff, of management, because we just really didn't want to move somewhere. Like, we could deal with things not being nice and new. I mean, we were living in a really, really gross, like, college town house. I mean, we could deal with, like, not the highest quality of living, but we really wanted good management, and I think we got pretty lucky. We found that here where we're at right now. So let me talk about where we're at. We decided to live in Antioch. It's still technically Nashville. There's a lot of different sub-cities in what one would call Nashville. So we're in one that's a little to the east of Nashville. If your point of reference of Nashville is that downtown strip there, downtown Nashville, then we're about a 25 minute drive to the east. Now, the benefits of living out here are the space that you get and the money, the price of that space. And obviously prices tend to skyrocket the closer you get to downtown areas. We were definitely willing to make that trade-off, to do a little bit of a commute, just to give us the space that we have at the price that we wanted. The space that we decided to go with was a 2-bedroom apartment, which is amazing for us. We're pretty spoiled with our space, mainly because, music stuff just takes up so much room. Demi streams on Twitch. We've got a dual monitor setup. We take up a lot of space. And now we're really happy we got the double bedroom, because we got this little menace that's running around currently wrecking my apartment. I don't know if you can hear that, but she gets the zoomies all the time and just goes crazy. So yeah, as I said, we were willing to live somewhere where we knew we'd have to commute a little bit. At 25 minutes isn't really that bad, especially because the highways here are big. Compared to where I'm from, highways are 2 lanes going one way, 2 lanes going the other way. Here, it's 3, 4, even 5 lanes sometimes. So we hop right on the highway and we're downtown, or I'm where I need to be in the music scene. In this area where we're at, the starting price of a 2-bedroom, and a pretty nice one at that. This one was newly renovated, and a lot of stuff in Nashville is newly renovated, but this one was around the $1,000 mark, $1,000 a month for the 2-bedroom. It's like around 1,000 square feet, which is really great. That seemed like a safe starting point for us. Traffic, that's the one thing I heard before we moved here, was that the traffic in Nashville is just awful. And I can totally see why. Because the driving in Nashville is a nightmare. The drivers are insane. You will lose your mind. It's unlike anything you've ever seen. I mean, from reckless driving to just distracted driving and like not knowing how to merge, things like that. And when there's accidents, forget about it. If it could be literally nothing. Somebody could be broken down on the side of the road, but everybody's, peeking out their window, slowing down, going 20 miles an hour on the highway, trying to see what happened, and it just causes backups all the time. It's a nightmare. And this, as I've been told since I've moved here, that this is nothing compared to what it usually is. So, disclaimer there. I may not have a problem with the commute right now just because the traffic has been so lax lately, but that could definitely change really quick. But we're trying to stay ahead of the curve, and we're already planning our move when this lease is up in June. We're planning a move closer to town, which will probably be a different video where I'll go over how we're apartment hunting and where we're looking and stuff. I think that'd be cool to keep you guys in the loop about that. But yeah, like I said, another video. As far as living further away from downtown and being worried about not being in the scene, I really don't think that matters. I think most people that, I'm downtown either working or playing or writing with people like every day, and most people are all in the same boat. We're all commuting from these little outside suburb kind of areas, and you don't need to live on the downtown strip. You don't need to live in the Gulch or in West End in order to be in Nashville. Everything's so close by, and it's an easy highway ride right there. Like, you don't need to worry about not being able to afford a place that's right in dead center in order to enjoy Nashville. Don't be afraid to don't be afraid of the commute. That is, granted that it stays a little sane during the pandemic, but we'll see. So the main thing that I'm sure all of you are wondering is what it's like down here during the pandemic as far as bars, music, restaurants. And I'm really not here to comment on the ethics of this, on the right or wrongness of the scene down here. Of course, all musicians down here are trying to be safe, and respect the health of others. But I think it just stems from the fact that being out in bars and restaurants and playing music is the bread and butter of this industry. It's how people like me make a living. So it's popping down here, like there's a lot going on. There are precautions and people are trying to do the right thing, as far as, face masks and getting tests, recognizing when you have symptoms, staying home. Nobody wants to get sick. Nobody wants to get anybody else sick. But at the same time, everybody wants to continue to pay rent. So bars are open a lot. I think our curfew is 11 o'clock. There's a lot of writers' rounds going on. The downtown bars are still open. Covered things still going on. Of course, I can't say what's normal down here. I've only been here for like weekends or like little few day trips before. I've never been a working musician down here during normal times. But there's plenty to do. I'm constantly busy with shows and co-writing with people. So as far as I can tell, it's really great doing music down here right now. Definitely better than, I'm from Massachusetts, and I can't even tell you what the curfews are down there and what is allowed as far as music, but I'm assuming it's probably nothing. As far as opportunity, it's definitely down here right now, and I'm glad that I have something to do. I can get out there and not be going crazy in my house and doing it safely and just trying to get this ball rolling on this music thing. And yeah. So I guess the next thing I could talk about for people who are curious about doing music full time in Nashville and what it's like in reality, especially during a pandemic. I guess the main thing on people's minds is money, how to make it, and how much you find yourself spending, and what you can expect to be doing or to be making. And it definitely depends a lot on you. When I came here, it was June, so we moved here in June, and between Demi and I, we had a good amount of money saved up, because we didn't have jobs lined up or anything. So we knew we needed a lot of money saved up in case, getting jobs was harder than we thought, or, I would definitely recommend that, especially if you don't have a job lined up. For me, when I came here, I was Ubering mainly. That was my big source of income, and that's what I was kind of doing in college besides playing music, which is pretty good even during the pandemic, honestly. Uber Eats was a big thing for me. I mean, because you get tips from that, and I found that I was making, if I did it consistently for good amounts of hours, I was making 15 to 20 bucks an hour every time I went out to drive, which was really great. Like, I always knew I had that in my back pocket and I could just go do it. But I also didn't want to lose sight of why I moved down here, right? I moved down here to be on the scene, to meet people, and to do music. So I didn't want to rely on Uber too much. I wanted to get out there, you know? And so because of that, I relied on my savings a little bit and, you know, Ubered a little bit less than I probably should have. But it was for the potential of putting myself out there, you know, and building. It was an investment of time, if you will. So obviously that's not sustainable, right? You can't just go out and pray you get a record deal and that one day you'll make money before you go broke. So what I started doing was I met a friend of mine, good friend now, and we were just hanging out at one of Belcourt Taps, like one of my favorite places to hang. Sitting out on the patio, hanging out, drinking some beer, and he was talking about how he booked for the downtown strip, and I told him, man, I'm your guy, you know, I've got 4 hours memorized, country set list, you know, cover songs, put me on there, auditioned for that, easy, you know, and that downtown was good money, you know, doing what I wanted to do, doing what I came down here to do. And that was the goal. From my perspective of just moving here and being ready to work, you know, and having a lot of experience, I already had 3-4 years experience playing in bars. So it was an easy step for me. And they gave you $50 base pay, and that can vary from bar to bar, of course, but where I was playing, I got $50 base pay, and then whatever you got in tips was yours to take home. Average day, during a pandemic, of course, there was not a lot of people in these bars. But on an average day, you're talking $80 to $120 a day just for a 3 to 4 hour gig. That's a good thing to rely on. If you can get a steady gig in downtown and just do it for the money, and really not just do it for the money. I think a lot of people get caught up in that. You're doing it to become a better performer, right? Imagine, you know, somebody came up to you, you got a record deal out of nowhere. You got all your dreams came true. You cut a record, and they drop you on the stage in a stadium tour. What are you going to do? You're not going to pull up a stool and sit there acoustically. You got to perform. You got to entertain. And that is where, you know, downtown is where you hone that skill. And that's what I treated it as. It was money. It was what I loved to do. And it was practice for being comfortable on stage, you know, for work, for talking to people, for banter, you know. It's a great spot to be. I think people knock it a lot. Sure, there's some drama, you know, involved with being down there, and there's a lot of weird things you wouldn't really expect to see in a job, you know. Of course, it's music. It's one of the craziest jobs in the world. But maybe that's something for another video. I can talk about the nitty-gritty of, you know, working as a musician down there in Nashville, and it probably applies to a lot of other places in the country too, in the world. But yeah, maybe that'll be a different video. Apart from that, one thing that I was really getting into, it kind of just happened to me. I was at a brewery, and the sound there was just awful. You know, concrete box, sound guy who, not really a sound guy, somebody who got caught up doing the job. You know, feedback, stuff not working because he wasn't plugging him in the right jacks, you know, a disaster. And I was like, I'll help you if you want some help, because, you know, I had experience doing sound for myself for the past 4 years in bars and restaurants and stuff. And so they said sure. I negotiated a price for them, and I just started doing sound with them for a few months, and, you know, we got the place sounding better. And then I realized I love doing that. Sound is, you know, it's great. It puts me in the bar with the musicians. It's where I want to be. I love music. I love sound. And I said, hey, I think this is something I'd be down to do as a good side hustle, you know, and it pays really good. And so I've been continuing to get more gigs in better bars doing sound. And I think hopefully that is going to be my future of finances, and I can say goodbye to Uber, right? So take skills you have, you know, find little niches. You know, if you're looking for opportunity wherever you go, you will find something, be it sound or playing downtown, or, you know, photography is a crazy thing if that's your passion, you know, or marketing. You know, there's so many facets of the industry. It's about meeting people. Friends is the most important part. That's how I got all the opportunities I got since I've been here. and being on the lookout for opportunities where you can apply the skills you already have to make money. I think that's how you're going to do it. That's how you're going to leave behind things like the day job, which there's nothing wrong with that. A lot of people here prefer the day job, to make money steadily and reliably. And then at night they go out and they do their music thing, and it's like two lives. For some people it's safer and they like it that way. And side hustle is kind of hard. You have to really be keeping track of the money that you're making, dates, and you're your own boss, and it's a lot of work. But for me, it pays off. I love doing it. I love being my own boss. Yeah, the grind is fun, man. That's what it's all about. It's what we're down here to do. And I like being close to music as possible. Like I said, we're trying to get as close to being in the industry as we can. All right, guys, I kind of didn't anticipate how many things I'd have to talk about, or how long this video would be. So I think we're going to cut it here. If you guys are particularly interested in any one thing I talked about, I could go way further into depth about any of those things. Please just let me know. If not, I'll probably just pick a few more talking points and, just keep doing videos like this. But yeah, again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you continue to watch videos like this and my cover videos and original music that I'm doing too. If you like this channel, please like and subscribe and do all the things, So until next time, be healthy, be kind. See you later.